I will say that not all money is good money. I think this is an example of that. It sounds intriguing in theory, $5 million to just play 10 games, but we have to look at Caitlin Clark. Compare the women's game to the men's game. They are older. The big three is older guys, but are we sure that if Caitlin Clark goes to the big three that she's just going to dominate? Are we sure about that? What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View podcast. And today we are back and we are we were reviewing this past week's news. Now, let's go to the news update real quick. So, this past week, matter of fact, it was yesterday. We're going to NBA real quick. We have a lot of games, a lot of matchups in the Western Conference. It was the Kings and the Mavericks. That was a huge game. They are battling out for position in the standings right now. The Mavericks, they won that game. And Luka Doncic, he had a tremendous game. Kyrie Irving had a tremendous game. There was also the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. That was a lopsided game from start to finish. The Nuggets, I don't think they had Jamal Murray that game.
No, they didn't.
Nikola Jokic, he was okay, but for the most part, the game was out of hand early, and you could just tell that the Nuggets, they were just not locked in that game. Let's go. Oh yeah, and Anthony Edwards. I mean, he didn't really have to do much that game because everybody else stepped up. Rudy Gobert stepped up. Mike Conley stepped up, and whoever else, the role player stepped up. Let's go, and then we have the Lakers versus the Pacers. The Lakers weren't able to win that game. They couldn't hit the 3-point shot, and also the Pacers they didn't play the greatest game, but they did enough. They hit enough shots, hit enough threes. Siakam was able to get to the lane whenever he wanted to, and that was pretty much the story. I think his name is McConnell. He was able to hit some mid-range shots, get to the lane as well. So, and then we have let me see. Let's see what other games we got here. The Thunder and the Suns. The Thunder that's another one that was a big game for the Suns because they're trying to get out of that play-in and not have to face anybody in the play-in. They lost to the Thunder. It was a lopsided game as well. The Thunder was able to dominate without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the most part. So that was a huge loss for the Suns. They are I think 2.5 games in front of the Lakers. I think they may be in a game or two in front of, I think it's the Kings maybe. Yeah, because they're the 7th seed right now. So, yeah, man. That was pretty much sort of the big games that happened. Oh, yeah, and the Warriors and the Hornets, the Clippers and the Magic. Clippers, they was able to get by a close one, very close one, because the Magic, they had them. They had them, but I don't know what it is about the Magic, but the Magic, whenever they face a top 10 seeded team in the Western Conference, they fold. They're cooked food whenever they face one of those top 10 teams because every time I see them play one of them, they just lose. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. The Warriors were able to scrape by on that one. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Cavaliers, 76ers, Cavaliers, Miami. Oh, yeah, Miami, 60-point victory. First time ever that a NBA team gave up 60 points in 2 games in one season.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long. Yeah.
Man, I wish I could have saw that Knicks and Spurs game. Jalen Brunson had 61, and Wemby had 40.
Yeah, that was another one. That was went to the wire, overtime. Jalen Brunson, Victor Wembanyama. It's a crazy game. Crazy night of NBA. Let's go to the other stuff that happened over Friday and also Thursday. It was March Madness. Yesterday we had the Sweet 16 for March Madness. It was Duke versus Houston, an upset. A lot of folks had Houston in this game. Even without Coach K, they still find a way to win, find a way to get to the Elite Eight. NC State versus Marquette, it wasn't even a close contest.
No.
NC State dominated that game from start to finish. Purdue versus Gonzaga. Purdue, it was a close game. And then all of a sudden, I would say about the 10-minute mark, Purdue was able to get this game out of hand, 10-point, 12-point victory. And then we have Tennessee versus Creighton. Tennessee was able to beat Creighton to go to the Elite Eight. So that was Friday's slate for the men's March Madness. Thursday, we have Clemson versus Arizona, another upset. Arizona, a lot of people had Arizona in their Final Four, and they weren't able to prevail. Caleb Love, he didn't have a good shooting night. He was horrendous. He was stinking it up. And UConn versus San Diego State. UConn is they're just dominant. Like it's ridiculous. Alabama versus North Carolina. This was another upset. People had North Carolina in their Final Four as well, and they weren't able to win it. What's his name? RJ. Is it RJ Davis? He also, and Caleb Love stunk it up. I'm not gonna get to all the other stuff. That
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Illinois, Iowa State. Didn't watch this game, but it was a close contest. Illinois was able to prevail. This is one of a lot of people's sleeper team in the bracket when it comes to the Final Four and possibly winning it all. So that is the men's side of things. All right, then we go to the women's March Madness. And we have Friday, Oregon State versus Notre Dame. This was a close game, but Notre Dame wasn't able to win. Oregon State came through at the end. South Carolina had a big lead, and then for whatever reason, they just relaxed, and they almost got upset by Indiana.
Yeah.
So they're still in the Elite Eight, but man, that's very interesting. And I don't know if you saw the post game, but I remember a reporter asked one of the players, how do you stop your team, pretty much, South Carolina? And I forget what she said, but I know Dawn Staley, she was like, look, we just gave up a 20-point lead. So, yeah, you could tell she was frustrated. NC State beat Stanford 77-67. And then we have Texas beating Gonzaga, the number one team. Yeah, the number one team in their bracket. They beat Gonzaga, beat the brakes off of them. And, yeah, so Saturday.
We got LSU versus UCLA tipping off at 1 p.m.
Yep.
We'll be tapped in to see that one, even though I expect LSU to win. But UCLA got some players.
Yes, they do. It's gonna be a good slate for today. Iowa versus Colorado, USC versus Baylor, Duke versus UConn. So we're gonna see all the big names today. All the big names when it comes to Angel Reese, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, when it comes to Juju Watkins, and the girl from UConn. I forgot her name, Paige Buchers. Yeah. So all the big names, we're gonna be able to see them today. Hopefully all of them advance so we can see them match up against one another, especially LSU versus Iowa.
I feel like there's no way an upset doesn't happen. If I had to pick a team to get upset, I would probably, honestly, it could. Well, actually, LSU is the third seed, so it wouldn't really technically. Well, they're favored by 3.5, so that would be the betting upset. My bets would be on either USC or LSU.
Okay. Interesting.
But hopefully we don't get any upsets because a final four of. Oh wait, this is the Sweet 16. So yeah, final 8 including LSU, Iowa, USC, and UConn would be box office.
Yeah, that really would be box office. It's unfortunate that Iowa and LSU are gonna have to face each other in the Elite Eight because it's like, damn, I would love to see them in Final Four. But at the end of the day, if we're fortunate to see them play again, doesn't matter where they are, as long as we get to see them play again and get that rematch. I would really love to see that again. And let's see, what else we got in here? The Nationals. The Nationals, they kicked off the regular season. They went on the road. They faced the Cincinnati Reds. Got washed. 8-2. It wasn't even close.
Josiah Gray pitched
Yeah,
god awful.
found it. All right. Yeah, Josiah Gray was awful. He was absolutely awful. C.J. Abrams. Yeah, they weren't able to do much. Count about 6 hits. Yeah, 2 runs. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. What is just your reaction to the game, man?
I ain't see the game because,
yeah, I know.
I think it was on kind of early.
Yeah, it was kind of early.
Yeah.
Baseball comes on really early.
Yeah,
I didn't see it either, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, we're both Nat fans. You're huge when it comes to baseball.
I'm not surprised because apparently the Reds in opening day is like a whole big like ceremony over there. Like I looked at the ticket prices. I think they were like the second most expensive for opening day. Yeah. I was like, am I missing something? And someone in the comments was like, oh, it's like a whole parade or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. The Reds aren't that good, but salute, I guess.
Yeah,
but
salute.
2 to 8, I mean, I don't know, man. Because I remember last year when it was the Nationals opening day, they got washed too. So against the Braves. So I'm not expecting this team to pick it up anytime soon. Like you look at the roster, it's like, who are most of these dudes? I mean, I know them because I'm a fan of the team and I play MLB The Show. But if you just a casual fan, you're like, who are these guys? So I don't know. The Nationals, they still got work to do.
All right, and then the last thing on the news update I want to talk about is the WWE. Now, on Monday night, The Rock made a surprise entrance. Number one, people were speculating. They were trying to figure out what he said to Cody Rhodes, but later found out he said that, I'm going to make you bleed. And at the end of the show, The Rock confronted Cody Rhodes in the back, and he just was whooping his you-know-what. Made him bleed at the end. Had a whole belt ready and was just whooping him like he was his father. And it was embarrassing. Very embarrassing, but I loved it because it reminded me of the good old days back when you could show blood, back when you could say whatever you want on the television screen. And one of the things I will say before we get on to the main topics is this right here, wrestling. This is what I love about wrestling, and also The Rock being on Monday Night Raw versus being on SmackDown. He's able to do a lot more because one, it's on cable. Rather, when you go to SmackDown, which is on Fox, it's more so nationwide. It's more, you can get it for free, so you're very limited on what you can do. So this right here, The Rock on Monday Night Raw, he was able to get away with a lot more stuff, and that's why you were able to see all of this, the bleeding and everything like that. And it's great storytelling. It makes Cody Rhodes' character a lot more interesting, a lot better. He's trying to put him over. It's almost like The Rock is like his Cody Rhodes is promoter in a way, except he's his enemy, which is weird. But he's making Cody Rhodes look a lot better than what Roman is doing. Roman, he's just chilling.
Yeah,
he's just chilling. So, yeah, man, that is the news update for the week. We are going to get to the main topics of things real quick. Let's go to the NBA. Let's look at the NBA standings real quick. So the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, it is the next 3-4 weeks is going to be massive for standings, for where teams are going to be seated, because it's very close. The Eastern Conference is pretty much, when it comes to the first seed, it's a foregone conclusion. But then after that, everybody is pretty much close, except obviously the Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls that are in the play-in. But everybody else in the Eastern Conference is vying for that top 2 seed, those 2 to 5. It's really close. So let me find the standings real quick.
It's Bucks has 46 wins. Cavs have 45. Knicks have 44. Magic have 42. Pacers got 42. Heat has 40.
Yeah, so all of these teams now, Miami, they don't have a chance. But when you look at 2 through 6, it's close. Those seedings can change. So it's going to be very interesting. Now, I'm not too excited about the playoffs because I think Boston is clearly the best team, and everybody else is just trying to catch up to them. When I look at the Western Conference, though, I see Minnesota is the number 1 seed. We already talked about it. They just beat Denver. OKC, they're number 2. Denver's number 3. They're all tied at 51 wins. Now Denver is a half game behind, but you never know. I don't know what their schedule is, but they might play them again. Who knows? Clippers is the 4th seed. New Orleans is the 5th seed. Dallas is the 6th seed. Phoenix is the 7th seed. Sacramento's the 8th seed. Then we have the Lakers. Then we have the Golden State Warriors, who are a game ahead of the Houston Rockets that are coming. They are coming. So, yeah, man, the Western Conference standings is unbelievable right now. Yeah, when we get down to April, it's going to be a lot of hell. It's going to be a lot of hell. Who do you think? What are the seedings going to look at the end for the West and for the East? What do you think? How you see this playing out?
That is a fantastic question. For the first seed, I honestly can't call it, because you got the Thunder and Nuggets and the Timberwolves all tied at 51 wins. Obviously, Timberwolves have the tiebreaker over those other 2 teams. I could see the Timberwolves keeping that 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I could see the Thunder getting it. I got to see what the remaining games looking like. But as far as, like honestly, I think the Clippers will get jumped. Not by just the Pelicans. I think the Mavs will jump them, too. Because the Clippers have just been on a downslide recently. And it's just, they're not playing very good ball.
No, they're not. They have the Kings. They have the Nuggets. They have the Jazz, the Cavs, the Suns twice, the Jazz again, and the Rockets.
Yeah.
That's their remaining
honestly, schedule. Shoot. They mess around being the play-in. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's the James Harden effect. People fall for it year after year, but it's just like you just got to wait. You just got to wait. It's going to happen. You just have to wait. Mm-hmm. Now they talk about they don't know if they can meet. They don't want to meet Paul George's demands in the off season. So it's like, well, they're in trouble.
Yeah,
big trouble.
Yeah, they are in big trouble. I do think they'll avoid the play-in. I think they'll avoid the play-in.
I think they will barely.
Yeah, they'll barely. I feel like they'll be in that top. They'll either be in the 4 or 5. That's my prediction. Although they have been struggling. Just looking at these teams, like the Kings, they could beat the Kings. The Nuggets are a weird team where they like to sit their players out whenever the Lakers need a team to lose and the Nuggets are playing them for whatever reason. The Nuggets just decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna just sit my Jamal Murray out or whoever out. So that game, I wouldn't be shocked if the Clippers win that game. Jazz, they'll beat the Jazz. Cavaliers, they could beat the Cavs. Suns are a dumpster fire right now. They are in a bad predicament, so I could see the Clippers sweeping them. The Jazz again, they could beat the Jazz. The Rockets, they could beat the Rockets. It can always go both ways, but I just think that the Clippers, this schedule, although they are struggling in a way, they just won their last 2, albeit against Philly and I forgot the other team. It was Orlando. Orlando. I do think they have the capability of winning enough games to avoid the play-in. That's just me. The team that I'm really looking at is Phoenix. I think they might be screwed because their schedule is awful. It's very difficult. I think they're in a world of trouble if they don't go on a run. Like, they can't lose. Man, it's just it's just their schedule, man. It's just really difficult. You lose to the Thunder without Shea, that you should be concerned. And by the way, there's this person on Twitter, Laker fan, who he said, I don't know if it's he or she, but this person said that Frank Vogel was the perfect coach would be the perfect coach for the Lakers. And I'm like, are you not watching what the Suns are doing right now? We're literally only 2.5 games behind them.
Yeah.
They could possibly be in the position we are right now in like 2 weeks. So I don't know where this fanfare for Frank Vogel is coming from, because what he's doing right now is not that far off to what Darvin Ham is doing. So I don't get the whole fanfare for Frank Vogel when they're only 2.5 games ahead. And if they, in this tough stretch, if they lose some games, guess what? The Lakers might jump over them. So I don't get it. I think revisionist history.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Because we won a championship, and because the defense was so great when he was the coach. But you have to understand, like, Frank Vogel, he's not. I like Frank Vogel's not the worst coach in the world, but he is so reliant on having the best talent. Like, if he doesn't have the best talent at his disposal, he's not gonna elevate nobody. His X's and O's are not that great. Like, offensively, specifically, he's not good when it comes to offense. So, like, defense, he's pretty solid. But if he doesn't have the requisite talent at his disposal, he's going to get exposed. He's going to do some crazy stuff. I remember he was reluctant to play many bigs when he was on the Lakers. Like, he was reluctant to play any bigs when he was on the Lakers, when he was coaching the Lakers. So all this Frank Vogel love, I just don't understand it. I just think people are upset.
Yeah, they just don't like Darvin Ham.
Nah,
they don't like the ham sandwich.
I don't like Darvin Ham either, but come on now. I remember what people were saying before Frank Vogel got fired.
Oh, yeah.
People wanted him gone. People wanted him gone. Golden State, I already told you this. I'm not sold on Golden State. They're not that talented, and their schedule is.
The Rockets have won their last 10.
Yeah, they've been sensational. They've been really good, man. They've been really good. They have the Mavericks next game.
I think Mavs won. But speaking of sensational, the Mavs have been sensational too. They won their last 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So they've been playing some good ball, man. A lot of doubts was had about the Kyrie and Luka duo, but as you can see, it can work out, man.
Daniel Gafford was a big pickup for them. Added size. If he could have been good for the Lakers. I tell you that. Damn.
Their paint defense is like really good.
Yeah.
Like, they held Sabonis the last 2 times they played him. He had like 12 points and only 10 rebounds, like almost both games. And Jokic, he had 16 that one game.
Mm-hmm.
And like he ain't do all that well the last time they played him either.
Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford has been really good for them in the interior. I just wish the Lakers were able to trade for a Daniel Gafford. We need size, and we just like nope. But this isn't a Laker topic. But yeah, man, the Mavericks. I'm glad that you mentioned the Mavericks last week, because I do like the Mavericks as well in the Western Conference. They've been playing really well because, like a month ago, they were really struggling. Yeah. They weren't winning that whole much, but it seems like they found an identity. They found some chemistry when it comes to Luka and Kyrie and everybody else, and they've just been doing well ever since. I do think they're one of the scary teams in the Western Conference that you do not want to face.
You know what makes them scary is that they're so good down the stretch.
Yeah, they got them 2 dudes, man. They got 2 closers.
Exactly.
That's the problem when you face the Mavericks. That's why if my team makes the playoffs, like, there are maybe 3 teams that I'm looking at, I'm like, I don't want to face them. One of them is the Mavericks, 2 is the Nuggets, and 3 is the Timberwolves, because the talent and also just the ability to close is why I don't want to face the Mavericks, dude. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to face Kyrie and Luka. They both of them go off 30. And you just be like, oh, dang, how are we supposed to stop these dudes?
Right, and how many teams have the guard defenders to even make it difficult?
Exactly.
So that's man.
And you ain't gonna get much in the paint.
No.
So
It's gonna be a very difficult day for whoever has to match up with the Mavericks in the playoffs because Kyrie is experienced, Luka is experienced, Jason Kidd's been there before. It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a very long day. All right, and then we have New Orleans, who's been on a tear even without Brandon Ingram.
Zion is finally taking that leap that we all wanted him to.
Mm-hmm.
He has been killing it recently. Except for that one game against the Heat, he only had 4 points. But I don't know. Did they lose that game?
No, they won the game.
Okay.
That was the game where that was without Bi. Literally, like right after Bi got injured and stuff like
man,
that.
Like his
they
last
cooked
3,
him.
28 points, 9 for 15, 29, 10 for 17, 36 points. He was 13 for 14. Like Zion is hooping right now.
Yeah, he is definitely hooping right now, and you got to man. We already talked about it before about Zion and just
he's healthy.
Yeah, he's healthy, and he slimmed down. He's in shape.
They say he lost
like 30 pounds.
Yeah, 30 pounds since November or something
something like that. Ever since the play-in tournament, he's been getting in shape, which is good because we need him to do that. I'm still not all the way sold. You know, I'm hearing. I already mentioned before, but I'm hearing just this buzz about Pelicans being a sleeper team. I'm still not all the way there yet because I'm just not a believer in Zion and Bi in the playoffs. I have to see it. Those are the two dudes. Those are the X factors when it comes to the playoffs. You need your star players to perform up to task, and I don't know if they are ready yet. I know Bi has been in the playoffs before, and I think he did he play the Warriors in the first round one year? I forget who it was, but I remember Zion got hurt, and Bi had to do it on his lonesome.
I think that was the Clippers, was that?
Whoever it was, I remember the Pelicans faced a really good team in the first round. They were like the 7th to 8th seed, and Brandon Ingram had a really good showing those games. But I don't know if he can replicate that when you have Zion on the court and you're trying to figure out, okay, is it my turn? Is it your turn? I'm still questioning if those two guys can get it done. If they can get it done in the playoffs, then they have a hell of a chance to do something special because they have the pieces. They have the wing defenders. They have a closer in C.J. McCollum. He can hit big shots. You have a solid coach in Willie Green. You have the pieces. You have depth. It's just about those two guys. They need to step it up. You need your star players to play well.
Oh yeah.
If they don't, then you're screwed, especially in the Western Conference. On the East, Philly they really need Joel Embiid back. I don't know how it's going to work because they're like the 7 or 8 seed right now. Yeah.
The East just
fortunately,
even the Bucks is like ugh.
Fortunately for Philadelphia 76ers, the Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks, like they are so far behind them, so I don't see those two teams even taking over the 8th seed because they're just way behind them. So that's good for them, but it's unfortunate that Joel Embiid is hurt right now because they were like a top 4-3 seed when Embiid was healthy, and now that they're within the 8th seed, it's just terrible. It's just unfortunate to see that. But I will say this though: if Embiid comes back and they get Milwaukee in the first round, it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if we see an upset in the first round. If Embiid comes back and he
blow the team up if that happens at this point.
If Embiid comes back and he's close to 100% and they face Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, I might have to go with Philly.
I can't blame you.
Nick Nurse, he's the Giannis
stopper.
The Giannis stopper. He knows the formula to beat Giannis.
Which is
Pause.
Just put up a wall.
Yeah. I like the 76ers chances. Now against Boston,
no.
They have a shot because Boston, again, a lot of one-on-one ball. They make a lot of mistakes when it matters most. And I do like Nick Nurse as the coach. They've really upgraded when it comes to the head coach. I think Nick Nurse is a significant upgrade to Doc Rivers. I think situationally he's a lot better. I think defensively, the X's and O's, he's a lot better. So when they face Boston, Boston obviously has the edge, and I'm gonna probably pick Boston, but I wouldn't be shocked if that series goes 7 games. Because I like the coaching of Nick Nurse. I think the talent is also good enough where they compete against Boston. Tyrese Maxey has elevated his game, and I like their chances. I really do. I really like their chances.
The Celtics did just lose 2 to the freaking Hawks.
Yeah.
What the heck is that all about?
I don't know. But
one came off of the DeJounte Murray game winner, but the other one, they just outright beat him.
Yeah, and then everybody else, I'm not really too. I mean, the Knicks, they're a wild card because they can play defense.
Sometimes you look at the Knicks and like, man, this team is. And another time it's like, well, it's the Knicks.
It's because they're always hurt. They don't have their top guys except Jalen Brunson. And see, what's going to come down to the Knicks is their team going to be healthy. Because they have everybody assembled, it's going to be dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
They might go to the Eastern Conference Finals if they have everybody assembled. That's going to be the thing with the Knicks is their health. OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, is everybody going to be there when you need them? And see, that's why they're still battling out to try to get to that number 2 seed. Because if they had everybody, they would easily have the 2 seed by now. I like the Knicks. It's just about health at the end of the day. And everybody else, I'm not really looking too much into. I'm not sold on Orlando.
I am not moved by the Cavs. I'm going to be honest.
I'm not moved either. I'm not a believer. Yeah, a lot of these teams are. They are a. It's because the East is weak. Let's be honest. They are a product of a bad conference. Because a lot of these teams, I'm just not sold on. The Knicks have a formula that you can win with. Milwaukee is just, they're good one week, they're bad another. They're too up and down. Philly, it's all about Joel Embiid. Miami, I don't know what the hell is going on with Miami. I don't know if they're just cruising until the playoffs, cruising until April. I don't know what that's all about. And yeah, everybody else I'm not sold on. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Magic. They're having an amazing season. They have over exceeded expectations. Paolo has been sensational. Wagner, all those other guys, they've been sensational, man. But
don't let the advanced stats Twitter hear you say Paolo was sensational. I did not realize how much they don't like that guy.
Really?
Yeah. They say he's inefficient and like it's like some off numbers is not good and all that stuff. So yeah, a lot of the stat guys don't like Paolo.
Wow, I didn't know that. I mean,
I was surprised to see it too. I was like, huh, interesting.
He has that maybe because he has that old school 2000s type of style. You know, nowadays these stat junkies, they don't like that. They don't like that old school 2000s Carmelo, Kobe, T-Mac, Vince Carter style of play because it wasn't efficient enough for them. So, yeah, man, I don't know. All I know is that Orlando, they've overexceeded expectations. I just don't see them going far in the playoffs. I don't see them winning a. I don't think they go in the second round. I don't think they go in the second round. Indiana, they can't guard nobody. I don't see them going the second round.
Halliburton is playing hurt. So.
Yeah, he's playing hurt. Siakam's playing a little bit better, maybe because he played the Lakers, but I don't know. Yeah, Siakam, he's on and off. I just look at the teams that really scare me in the East. It's like Boston, Milwaukee, New York, Philly, and Miami.
I'm not scared of them. I like the Bucks, but if I'm going against the Bucks, I'm not too worried. Like if I'm like a team like the Heat, I'm not scared. Yeah, I'm not scared.
Or New York.
Yeah.
Or New York. Or listen, I'm just looking at the teams that where I'm saying they can win a playoff series.
Okay.
Everybody else, I'm not confident they'll win a playoff series. Like
We might get a. I think preemptively, I think we'll get a Celtics Knicks conference finals.
the Celtics Knicks conference finals.
You got to get some
I
buzz
don't
in
know.
the Eastern
I
Conference.
don't
That's like
know.
the only series that can really, in my opinion, like moves the needle and brings back a kind of a historic franchise type
We need
deal.
OG. They need OG. They're not making the conference finals without OG. They're just not. They're just not. They don't. They need OG to make the conference finals. So a few days ago, TMZ reported that Caitlin Clark was offered $5 million from the Big Three. Ice Cube, he wanted to make a big splash, and he offered $5 million to Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark hasn't accepted the offer. Who knows if she's going to accept the offer? But I think this is a good business move for the Big Three, for Ice Cube. I like the move. I think bringing Caitlin Clark in, you're going to get viewership.
Oh yeah.
You're going to get a lot of people talking. So, yeah, I like the move.
Yeah. I don't see a problem. I think it's a good idea. What would have been also good is if they sent it out to like multiple uh women, big name women hoopers coming out of college as well. Like maybe you could give an offer to like an Angel Reese too, or who else is coming out this year? I know some other people coming out. But yeah, like stuff like that. Like, or maybe next year you send one to Paige when she declares or whatever. Maybe even you. Well, I don't think. Yeah, you can't. You could even send some to like a big WNBA player, like Asia Wilson or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I don't think it's any type of overlay. I mean, obviously the Big Three starts after the WNBA season is over, so it wouldn't be any scheduling conflicts. I don't think. And shoot, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm accepting that. You kidding me? That's way more than I'm getting paid in the league. Just to play, I think it's like only 10 games.
10 games.
$5 million for 10, man. What? That's an easy bag against these old dudes. Come on, son. I'm what? I am shooting. I'm gonna just sit at the 4.3 zone. I'm gonna just be shooting from there all game. I don't need to do too much.
Okay, so there's two conversations, right? Number one, Lexi Brown response,
Oh Lord.
her take on this whole thing about Ice Cube offering Caitlin Clark $5 million, but not offering any of the WNBA players a deal. And then we have that, should Caitlin Clark accept the offer? Number one, I want to respond to Lexi Brown. I understand where she's coming from, but it's a business at the end of the day. And Caitlin Clark is the biggest name in college basketball.
Yeah.
College basketball, not women's, no, men's as well. She's the biggest name in college basketball. She is the biggest name in college basketball since Zion. There's no man or women that has been bigger than Caitlin Clark since Zion. That's how big she is. So, him offering her that money makes a lot of sense. One, because her name, her value is ginormous. He understands that the women's game is not getting paid a whole lot of money. So, there's an incentive for her to at least think about it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. If he tried to offer that to the men's, we already know they make too much money, yada, yada, yada. They're not going to do that. I will say that not all money is good money. I think this is an example of that. It sounds intriguing in theory, $5 million to just play 10 games. But we have to look at Caitlin Clark. compare the women's game to the men's game. They are older. The big three is older guys. But are we sure that if Caitlin Clark goes to the big three that she's just going to dominate? Are we sure about that? Because these are grown men, former NBA players. I get it. They're older, but they're still grown men that can still play in a high level. Maybe not NBA, but they can still play. It's physical. It's not enough. It's not a lot of space. It's more so half court setting.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of space as much as there would be if it was full court setting. I don't know if it's a good idea for her to accept this deal, because what if she accepts it, she plays these 10 games, and she doesn't dominate? She doesn't look as good as what we thought she would look. What if that happens? What would be the perception on women's basketball if that would have happened? She doesn't cook these old guys. She doesn't average 30 or something. What would be the perception? It would. I fear that it would look bad. People would, because they're doing it already. They're comparing her to, can she play in the NBA and all this other stuff. They're doing it all right now. And I fear that if she goes to the big three and she doesn't dominate, it'll be a bad look for women's basketball.
I could see that point of view, but at the same time, how many people are seriously watching the big three and taking that style of basketball seriously?
I'm telling you, man. There's a lot
obviously
of
going to be some. If that did happen, it would definitely be some people trying to push that agenda. But how was that any different than her going to the WNBA and not dominating?
Because you're playing against your peers, and people will okay, I mean, that's expect. I'm saying women's basketball in general will look bad if she goes to the big three and doesn't play well, because then it will reinforce this narrative that women can't play against men. The women's sport, we shouldn't take women's basketball that seriously, when in reality, there's a reason why there's women playing women and men playing men, because just genetically.
Yeah.
And we don't even need to go into detail about that. Everybody knows. But that's the problem, is that if she goes to the big three and doesn't dominate, there's going to be a lot of these men out here. Men, not women, men that are sexist, misogynistic towards women, that are going to have this narrative, this agenda about women's sports, women's basketball. And it's going to put women's basketball, it's going to be a bad look for them, because she's the biggest name in women's basketball. And she's going to go to the WNBA, and let's say she plays well in the WNBA, but she didn't play well in the big three. That's going to be a bad look.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's going to be a very bad look. So I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think she should do it.
Me personally, I don't even think she needs the money.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
She got so many endorsements that $5 million is probably gonna be nothing.
Exactly.
Well, not nothing. $5 million is never nothing.
That is a lot.
But
is a lot.
It's not going to be as dire as a different WNBA player, because she got endorsements and all type of stuff, and she already getting money from NIL and all that. So that Nike deal and some more stuff. So she'll be fine financially. She won't mind playing for that $70K in WNBA, so however much it is.
She gonna get more than $70K. I bet you that. She gonna get.
Well, she is a rookie. So
I know, but she gonna probably be the number one pick. She probably get maybe $100K at least maybe $100K.
I gotta see how they do the salaries.
Yeah, me too. But I think she gonna get a little bit more than $70K. But yeah, man, there's just like the women's basketball has been disrespected in so many years. Like,
Oh yeah.
a lot of guys say, "Oh, you
But
know,
the viewership is at an all-time high.
yeah,
So
for
somebody's watching.
college, for college."
No, WNBA
Oh,
too.
Are you
Last
really
season, I think they
in
had
the
their most.
finals?
They had their most viewed season in the WNBA last year.
That's good. That's good. I'm. It's just like a lot of men. They think that they can go up against these women basketball players that have been training their entire lives, when in reality that's not the case. And they're like, "Oh, why should I watch this game?" Like, it's a bad look, man. It's a bad
Just
look. It's too much of a risk. The money sounds great, but it's too much of a risk.
True. I guess it is about set like a precedent, I suppose.
Yeah, because she is. If you look at the biggest names in women's basketball, it's her, it's Sabrina, it's Angel Reese, it's Aja Wilson,
Kelsey Plum.
Kelsey Plum. But the top three is probably Caitlin Clark, it's Angel Reese, it's Sabrina. Think about that. 2 college basketball players are in the top 3. You could argue are the top 3.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese, she's won championships. Man, she even won the NCAA championship with South Carolina that one year. I think they beat UConn. But she's not better. She's not bigger in popularity than Caitlin Clark.
No.
And she's been in commercials. So, yeah. I just think she should not accept the offer. All right, Drake,
here we go.
Maye, and Jayden Daniels pro day. Now you're seeing Drake Maye highlights, like a few clips. I've seen these 2 clips go viral on Twitter. These are like the 2 clips. The one with the overthrow, and then if they show, I guess they're not going to show. I guess I didn't put that on there. But yeah, that was the overthrow, and then also you have Jayden Daniels pro day. This went viral. This is like I think it's like a 50, 60-yard pass.
We all know he has a good deep ball.
Yeah. So yeah, that was
I say this right now.
Yeah.
Pro days are somewhat important, but I don't care. The film will tell you what kind of player you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously. Yes, players yes, Drake may miss some throws. Yes, Jayden Daniels missed some throws. People talk about, Jayden Daniels' footwork, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Look at the film.
Yeah.
What does the film, I don't care what they throwing in shorts and a freaking T-shirt. What does the pads play with pass rushers coming at them and with having to read coverages and stuff? That's what's going to really tell you. These are just practice throws at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you expect these dudes to be perfect in practice? That's the whole point of practice. To mess up and correct it so by the time game time comes, you are more of a polished player. So I'm not putting no stock into these pro days, man. I'm just not.
Didn't you text me saying I was right about Drake Maye?
That was mostly like trolling,
because
they was doing like the same. They was trolling Jayden Daniels the earlier. So I was okay. I'm gonna get my little revenge on that.
All right, I just think with pro days, I don't take too much stock in the pro days. It's really just a networking event for like scouts and NFL people that want to meet the player. They have a better opportunity of meeting the player at the pro day than, let's say, the NFL Combine because they weren't there or they weren't participating in it or anything like that. I just look at it and I just say, well, it just confirmed everything I thought about the player. That's all it really did. And with Jayden Daniels, I didn't really hear much about, like, oh, my God, like, his pro day was amazing. I didn't hear really much anything about that. It was more so what he said in interviews. Drake Maye, again, those 2 clips, one was one was in the end zone. He threw it high, and the receiver had to like really grab the football to catch it. And the other one we showed was the overthrow on the out route. I mean, that's 2 throws. The rest, okay.
I think he also had that throw where he was like way behind on the. I think the running back was running. I don't know what route that was. I think it was just like a little. I forgot what that route was.
It wasn't a crossing route, was it?
No. But it was something where he came out the backfield and he like ran like an out or something like that,
Yeah.
and the throw was behind him. It could have been a crossing route too.
Yeah.
Like a little shallow or something like that. But yeah. But like I'm like, oh man, who cares?
Yeah, man. Again, like you can say, well, the fundamentals. It showed itself that they're inconsistent. They're not consistent, and I said this before. When it comes to Drake Maye, you have to sit him down. You cannot start him day one because he's not all the way there when it comes to the fundamentals of it all. While with Jayden Daniels, I believe with the number of starts and just seeing some of the tape and hearing what all these QB evaluators are saying and these former QBs are saying, it looks like Jayden Daniels is ready to start right away. So, again, it's all about fit. Whoever fits the system better is who you should draft. I think Jayden Daniels fits the system better with the Commanders because they're gonna have him start day one because Marcus Mariota sucks. He should be a QB3. He should be a practice squad guy. There's not going to be a QB competition between the two. While with Drake Maye, he's not refined. He's not all the way fundamentally sound yet. He is a prospect. He is somebody that needs to sit for a year or for a good amount of time during the season. And I believe Drake Maye, if he goes to the Patriots, I think they have Jacoby Brissett. They can sit him down for a majority of the season and let him learn. Or who knows? Maybe Minnesota might trade up to number 3. And he can go to Minnesota and he can sit behind Sam Darnold. I just think fit matters at the end of the day, and it's very clear where teams are going to draft these quarterbacks.
Oh yeah,
it's very clear. It's honestly, it might be unanimous at this point. The top 3 QBs are going 1, 2, and 3. Caleb's going to Chicago. Jayden's going to Commanders. Patriots. Drake Maye. Everybody else, who knows? Who knows where Bo Nix is going to go? Who knows where J.J. McCarthy can go? We're all speculating. I will say this, Michael Penix Jr., I think he helped his stock in Pro Day with his 40 time, with his vertical.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I do think he did help himself because I didn't know he had wheels like that because he barely ran.
Because he was injury prone and stuff. So.
I think that really helped him. I think he may have helped his stock get all the way in that first round. It's possible. It is very possible. I do too. As long as he uses his legs. If he doesn't use his legs, then it's like, damn, you're really hurting yourself. Bo Nix, I think this is my prediction.
I'm not a fan of Bo Nix.
I
don't see it.
I think there's going to be 5 QBs that get drafted in the top 15.
No.
Yes, I do. You know why?
Why?
Oakland, they need a quarterback.
They need a lot of everything.
Broncos, they need a quarterback. Giants need a quarterback. Those are the teams that really need quarterbacks. Minnesota needs a quarterback. I do think those teams, 2 or 3 of those teams, are going to draft a quarterback. I believe Broncos might draft Bo Nix. I really do. Who do they have?
They might as well just wait till next year.
I'm telling you, who do they have right now? They traded Russell Wilson. Who do they have right now that you can look to and say, oh, yeah, I'm confident?
You can say that for like half the league, honestly.
I think the Broncos are going to draft the QB. I think there's a possibility the Giants might draft the QB. I don't know if they will. That's going to be very interesting with the Giants. Because they could draft the QB, but then they could go
receive. I've been seeing they on J.J. McCarthy watch. I don't know.
the Raiders could always draft Jayden. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. That draft is going to be so interesting. I really don't know. After you get to the top 3, I really don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be so interesting, man. But the pro days, I really can't take too much
stock in.
That's just social media. And all these Commanders fans,
I think that pro day. That's like entertainment.
It is. All these Commanders fans that are Team Drake Maye,
like that fan base is like the
divided.
line has been drawn.
It's divided.
And you got to pick a side at
it's
this
Civil
point.
War at this point.
Yeah.
It's literally Civil War at this point. Like I'm seeing I'm seeing 2 Commanders fans. They want to fight each other. Like, bruh, it's getting to that point where these fans are like, you either Team Drake,
It's getting real personal,
or Team Jayden, and if you're not, we're gonna fight.
Yeah. They say if you ain't with us, you against us.
Exactly, and I'm telling you,
I was seeing Commanders fans tweets victory lapping over bad throws, saying, "Oh, we shouldn't draft." I'm like, what is going on? Y'all should be grateful that you're in a position to get any top 3 QB.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, doesn't matter if you have the first pick or if you have the second pick or the third pick. Whoever you draft, does he fit your scheme, and do you have the right people around you to develop that quarterback? It doesn't matter what pick you have. Oh, I got a notification. Hold on. Oh, they just published the story about Mookie.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Kim Mookie. They just published the story. Oh, man. I can't wait to read that. Oh, that's going to be good. But anywho, it doesn't matter what pick you have. At the end of the day, do you have the pieces around you? Do you have the coaching staff? And do you have the formula in place to help develop the head coach? To help develop the player. And that's all that really matters.
Was that an ESPN notification?
That was an ESPN notification. Kim Mookie, yeah.
What was the stories of alien, Native family members, former players? Oh, I thought it would be worse than that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll read it later, but yeah, man. Anywho, is there anything else we should discuss? I mean, there was a lot that happened this past week.
No, but we will be in April starting Monday.
Yeah.
So this is really where draft is going to start picking up.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm really going to start. I've been putting it off, but now I'm really going to break down and get into these parts. And now the pro days is over and the combine is over. Now we in the last one. 25, well, by the time you're seeing this, it'll be 25 days or less until the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really about to crack in. I'm gonna pick a position group and I'm gonna name my top 5.
Ooh,
I think next episode we'll start. Might give y'all a 2-for-1 and do 2 positions. Let's do that.
Yeah.
QBs and wide receivers. Top 5 coming next week. I'm gonna look at the tape, get some actual expert opinions, and see if I can see what they talk about. Gather all the info possible, and then that's what we're gonna do. So wide receivers, QBs. QBs already know. I've seen enough QBs. I could do them right now if I wanted to, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But wide receivers, that's going to be a little more interesting.
Interesting. Let me ask you a question. Where would you have Tyler Guyton in your offensive line rankings?
Should I do offensive line and total position? I mean,
you can do position. You can do position.
Top 5 left tackle, you think?
Tyler Guyton is tackle for Oklahoma.
Yeah. He might be a top 5 left tackle. Cause I got Fuaga.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my. I really like Fuaga. You got Mims.
Mm-hmm.
You got is Joe Alt right or left tackle?
Man, that's a great question.
A lot of people are starting to not be high on Joe Alt.
Really?
A lot of people say he was like a top 5 pick, But now people like, I'm not that big on Joe Alt. I'm like, what the heck happened?
No, that's weird. Let me see. Joe Alt.
I think it was a left tackle.
Let me see. Yeah, he is a left tackle.
I'm just going to do tackles. I'm going to just do tackles, guards, and then obviously center. So, yeah. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm just do tackles in general.
I say that because, PFF had us taking Tyler Guyton, and I'm like, why would we take Tyler Guyton? Why would we take Tyler Guyton over Nate Wiggins? Make it make sense.
Corners is going to get interesting.
Nate Wiggins, come on now. He's like 2 or 3.
So yeah, I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm not doing safeties. I don't know. I do not like looking at safety film and stuff like that.
Nah.
You just gotta know it. You just gotta know it when you see it.
Unless there's like a Darren James coming out.
The Kyle Hamilton.
Or Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I don't like looking at safeties.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm probably not gonna do linebackers either. I'm not too high on the linebackers this year. I would do edge rushers though.
Yeah, edge rushers, because what's his name? Robinson and Verse.
Chop verse Leatu Latu.
Yeah, Leatu Latu. Dallas Turner.
Yeah, Dallas Turner, and then the other Alabama edge rusher. I can't remember his name. Yeah, it's a pretty solid edge class.
Oh, that dude Leatu from UCLA.
Yeah.
There was a.
I think he's the best in the class. He's just the most polished, in my opinion.
There was a clip of. Matter of fact, it was like a 1 minute video, 1 or 2 minute video. It was him versus USC, and brother, he was cooking that whole line. He was getting double teamed. He was able to still get out of it. Yeah, he was cooking. He's going to be a very good player.
He just needs some peanut butter.
I will say though, in that clip, it also showed just how great Caleb Williams is, because he was evading all of this stuff. He still got hit by him, but like he still got sacked by him. But a lot of it, I'm like, damn, how was he able to get out of that? That just lets me know that Caleb Williams is going to thrive.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
Because
now, especially since Chicago is pretty much giving him the right proper help that they didn't give Justin Fields. So
yeah, his ability to escape rushers coming in his face is ridiculous. He's sensational. But yeah, man, I can't wait for the draft. I can't wait to see your rankings, man.
Yeah, man. We're gonna get right to it.
All right. Well,
yeah, wide receivers, QBs coming next week.
All right. Well, that'll do it on this episode of Courtside View Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. Post stuff on social media, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.